Good morning. It is not so bright, but early. Right now we are looking at just shy of 5:30 a.m. and we're at the Park Lake. So today Goldie and I are setting out on a limited session of about 4 hours tops, and we want to make it interesting. So we're going to make it the Park Lake Challenge, the first ever Park Lake Challenge for the Anglerphiles. And up for grabs is this amazing thrift store find of high quality stuff and plastic to make up what will be the Park Lake Challenge trophy. So part of our challenge today is to catch as many fish as possible. The only fish that count today are carp and suckers, both white and red horse suckers, because they are in here. But carp is primarily our target. Now we only have 3 bait options. 2 technically, but we're going with 3. Bread, sweet corn. We each have half a loaf of crusty bread. We each have the equivalent of 2 cans of sweet corn in a Ziploc bag, and whatever monster carp flavored corn we have. That's for both feeding up spots and hook baits. That's all we have for 4 hours. So we've got to use it sparingly and make sure we get as many fish as possible with what little bait we have. So yeah, we're going to be loading up the backpacks. We've each got our unhooking mat, our net, everything we need. We've got the 9-foot monster carp stalking rods. And yeah, we're going to split up, each take different sections of the Park Lake and move around throughout the morning and see who can actually take this beauty right here, which will happily sit in a place of prominence, you know, with all my other fishing trophies once I crush Goldie. Ain't that right, Goldie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to have cameras on each of us so that we can keep track of what's going on. We will be keeping our own tallies, so just marking it down on a piece of paper if we get a fish, but also we'll have the video footage to verify everything afterwards. So once all said and done in the morning, we should have an idea of how many fish we've caught each, but we won't know until after we've looked over everything to know the official numbers, which we will then sit down and go over with you. So I guess it's time to get started on making some bragging rights here. We finished getting everything together. Instead of walking down to the water together like we had planned, look at it and figure out which direction we were going to go in, yeah, Goldie already has booked it in the complete opposite direction. He knows where he's going. He's going after a group of fish we saw yesterday just under the surface in the hot sun. So I know which ones he's going after. I'm heading down to the main body of the Park Lake, and I'm going to look for some of the A-team and see if I can find some of those bigger ones first. And yeah, it's on already. Damn Goldie. I've had to change glasses just so I could see the area I decided to start doesn't actually have the glare in my favor for the morning sun. So unfortunately, as I walked up on my first choice spot, I spooked a really big fish, like definitely one of the A-team. So I just threw a little bit of sweet corn in there, just kind of get them to hold that spot if they come through again. So I guess now all I can do is keep moving and I guess make my way maybe to the other side where I can actually see in the water better. Because yeah, the glare that I've got right now from the low sun, pretty much I can't see in the water until I'm right at the spot that I want to look at. So I'm going to slowly kind of scan this area real thorough, and then I'm going to shoot to the other side where I should get a good glare, or a lack of glare, and hopefully pick off a couple of fish early doors so that I can get ahead of Goldie. Man, there should have been a fish parked right here too. I'll find them. Yeah, there's definitely fish over here by the island. I'm just casting at a fizzer right now, but just off the point, just kind of around this bush beside me. I could just see one just brought its mouth up and took something off the surface. So there's definitely a couple of them over here. The glare is so bad I can't see them right now. Not really one of my choice spots on this side. The silkweed's really bad over here, so they don't tend to feed on the bottom over here much. Usually you just see them cruising through here, but we'll keep looking. Try and get a good angle on them. Okay, so I just come up on one of my next spots. I'm actually fishing the opposite spot now. Well, haven't even started fishing. I just walked up on it, and there's about a 4-foot drop right off the bank here. And I saw this fizzing, so I just creeped up and looked down, and there's about 6 small fish there, all carp. And I think they're just cruising back and forth along this bank about 8 or 12 foot distance, just churning it up. The water is really murky, and I looked down and I could just see all these tails. So then as I backed up, they all shot up. So I think my steps on the ground kind of spooked them a bit. There's one just under the surface over there. If I had a piece of bread on, that would be the one to get. Okay, so these fish I think are moving over here. So I'm going to try and see if I can get on a low enough angle to actually hook one of these close ones first, and then go from there. I gotta be able to get one over here. Oh yeah, he's right there, tight against the bank. I don't even know if I can get this. Feeding like crazy right there. That was awesome. I didn't even lower it all the way down. He came up to it. I won't stay up those snags. Maybe the net. the other group is following around with it.
How did I miss that? There we go. Okay. One.
Ooh, this is a pretty fish. Yeah, as you saw there, just crept into the spot, and I didn't even get to lower it all the way down. I only lowered it about 10 inches under the surface, and this fish actually rose up to take it. Amazing looking fish, super strong for such a little guy. He's got some kind of a scar on the far side, but it distorts his scales enough to make him look really interesting. Oh, I'm loving it. First fish of the morning. Hopefully Goldie hasn't had any yet. Oh, that was awesome. That was so awesome. The whole thing so visual. Okay, so real quick before I get all this untwisted and back at it, very, very simple rig. And now I've been called out on this rig a little bit before, how I have just a simple hook on the mono with a short hair and then some split shots on the line. I know over in the UK a lot of that is not allowed and it's considered a death rig. These are not crimped on super tight, okay? They're very free moving. They're very, very lightly on there, just so I have the weight to get my bait down. That's it. As the line tightens up or it gets into any kind of weed or brushes up against anything, these move, right? So in the event that I have a break off and this fish is trailing this around, they brush against anything that maybe gets a little bit of resistance on the split shot, it's going to pull right off the mono. The fish is perfectly safe. I don't want to be using an unsafe rig, and you know, thanks to a lot of the people messaging us and pointing it out when they felt that our rigs weren't necessarily safe. I've taken the precautions. These are free moving, very lightly on there. They will come off and keep the fish safe, so they won't be trailing any leads around. So no worries there. But yeah, that's all it is. Just a size 6 hook, a short hair in the mono with some sweet corn and one piece of pop-up corn. And I had the split shot up about a foot. I had 2 on there. One of them actually came off. But yeah, if I need to fish tighter, I can move it in closer. If I need to get them a little bit more weary and have this moving a little bit better, I can slide this way up a couple of feet away if I need to. So really adjustable and safe. So I'm gonna get this untwisted because that fish took me in circles. The one just rose right behind me on the bushes there, right behind the camera. I'm actually going to drop some sweet corn in here because I know Goldie's over that way, but he can't see me because, well, I can't see him from here. So if I get some bait in here, I know that he'll check under the snags, but I know he's not going to check this open spot. And this is where they were feeding. So I'm going to put some in here and hopefully they'll come back on it so the next time I pass through here I can get another one. They're dialing in on that corn. They're coming close. That's that same group with that tiny, tiny one in there. Wouldn't mind that bigger one. Wow, it's been like 4 minutes and they're already, yeah, four minutes, and these fish are already back on the corn after I got that other one. Oops. I gotta see if I can do this again.
Oh, came right up to it. Okay, I gotta move around. I'm pushing my luck here. They keep coming by, but they're wary, so I'm gonna find another group.
Okay, so I've come up about 200 meters from where I was, and down in front of me, right tight to the bank, there is 3 small fish, 4 or 5 pounders. But directly across on the next island is Goldie. He is definitely onto some fish because he's casting at them. But I think these 3 that are in front of me, he might have spooked over this way. So I wonder, oh man, I lost sight of him. I wonder if I can hook one with him right there. Oh, there it is. Yeah, they're just small. All right, let's see what I can do here. I'm assuming you found some fish, Goldie? I found a few small groups, but the very first fish I saw was probably a high double, and I spooked it because I couldn't see it until I was right on top of it. Oh, you got them right there. Oh man, they're snuffling. Mud coming up. How many fish you got in there?
As many as you saw yesterday.
There was like 30 of them yesterday. Wow.
Had one take. So have I. Come up from the bottom and took it just under the surface.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice one. And then I missed a couple others. I got too greedy. Oh, they're all right in there.
Yep.
What do you have on for a hook bait?
Yep.
What? You're not going to say?
I'm not telling you.
Should I just leave you be then, Mr. My net's dry?
I said I just had a hook up. I didn't have to catch the thing.
Oh, okay.
He actually took my hook.
Like broke off?
Yeah.
How did that happen? Brand new line.
Good fish.
Oh, was it a good one? Man, you have got some serious feeders in there, eh?
Yep. Don't worry, it's the smallest one out of them all. Toss me a net. Hey, can you see that frame? I can't see. Okay, good. Look at the body on that one. That was the smallest one out of the group. There was two really good. Oh, you got a good in there. Okay, I'm gonna stop distracting you. I'm gonna get my fish back and maybe go find my own.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason we're doing this challenge is because I suck at it. John's really good at it. As you've seen, he left his camera here. Caught a fish just behind where I'm fishing right now. We're all 100 of these fish have been having their noses down and just pecking away at whatever grub they can get in here. And I can't seem to catch any of them. So stalking technique isn't my strong suit. So we thought we'd start with this one, just to see how bad he can make me look. I think he just realized he got the camera. But yeah, I just can't get the feel for this. He just realized he forgot his camera.
Yes?
Yeah, I know. It's sitting right there. Oh, I said something twice now to my camera. Yeah, I know. I already said that too. I was like, oh, look, he just realized he doesn't have his camera. He's coming back now. Okie doke. So yeah, he's coming back for his camera now. But he's already caught a little fish just over there, which is just on the other side of this little island I'm fishing on. And I can't even get a sniff, so hopefully I can figure out what these fish want. I'm going to go down to a smaller hook to see if maybe that'll help, because right now I'm using the Universal Perfection number 4, which I think is a little bit too big and it's freaking them out a little bit. So I'm going to go down to a size 6 and see if that works, because that's what I got my first fish on that broke me off like instantaneously. So we're going to switch up the hook and maybe find some magic stuff and put it on there and catch one of these guys. Hey, your camera's sitting there.
Yeah. Okay, so I have now made my way entirely around the park lake. I left Goldie about 20 minutes ago, half hour ago. He's set up pretty good on a big group of fish in that area. I just hope his luck turns around and he actually starts getting into some. Now, I went past this spot when I first got here this morning. This was one of the first spots I went by to start looking, and there was nothing here. Now I just come back on my first pass all the way around, and I spooked a colossal fish. It was massive. It had to be the biggest carp I've ever seen in this park lake before. It looked like a freaking barrel. It was a big fish. And as I've sat here, I've seen about at least 20, maybe a little over 20 fish zipping through in this current, going underneath the pathway under this bridge. And yeah, some of them are actually on the other side in the flow of the little creek. And it appears that some of these fish are still actually spawning here. So the spawn has not been completed yet, which would explain why we've got feeders up in the other sections that are, you know, larger in size, or sorry, smaller in size, and all the larger fish are down here. Yeah, down here they're still getting busy. So I've seen a few fish drop down on the bait, you know, pick up a couple pieces and then move off. So there are still some over here that are feeding, but I don't know what my chances are going to be like for that big one, because I think she's one of the ones that are feeding. She's big, real big. They're all just going through the snags over there. I couldn't put a cast in there if I wanted to. It's too snaggy. So I'm gonna just watch these fish for a few more minutes and see what they're up to. If any more drop down on the bait, then I'll try and get one. If not, I'll be leaving these ones alone and heading back up to where the fish are actually feeding and not spawning. But man, absolutely colossal fish, huge fish. Hope I can get a look at her again. Well, I left those bigger fish in the lower area that were spawning. I didn't want to bother them too much. I watched them for a little while, and I had a few more fish come in on the bait, and I missed a take. I struck too early when I saw a mouth open at it. So that was entirely my own fault. And I did see that really big one more time, but she pushed out as soon as she saw me. So I thought I'd come back up to where Goldie is, knowing that these fish aren't spawning, but they are feeding. We got another little guy. Another really scrappy, tough little guy. Amazing, amazing fight from these little fish. I'm gonna get this one back, and I'm gonna go over and chat with Goldie, see how he's been doing. Take off as we got to it.
We looked at it and then just kept going.
That one over there. Yeah.
Yeah. Two of them. Straight
There's
for
two
it.
of them. They were just digging.
Straight for it and then took off.
Is that seriously how your luck's been this whole time?
Yep.
It could be all under these bushes here on the left.
Yeah.
Here's a couple of them there in the current. Okay, so the current dilemma is I have fish all over me. I've missed 4 takes from good fish right in front here. I've got more coming in by the second. Come in, grab a few kernels of corn, then take off. Goldie's just fishing behind me. He's missed a couple, but he has yet to land one. So the challenge is pretty much wrapped up where I have crushed him. Downside is we got about 20 minutes left, so oh, just missed a chance there. So yeah, we're gonna have to go in a few minutes, and we were really hoping to get one more fish, at least get him one so he's not blanking. I've got one feeding heavy on my spot right now, and another one just to my right. Oh, there's another. There's 2 really big ones that keep coming in here. That big one I saw earlier I've not seen yet, but I've seen 2 follow-up fish that are really good size, really fat. One more fish. They're kind of cruising back and forth between Goldie and I, so they're just ripping up through this slack water in between us. We've both got a spot with a little bit of flow so we can push the scent of our bait out. Seems to be drawing them in. It's weird, I'll have like 6 of them in on my spot all at once, then they all disappear. Then 1 comes in, then 2 comes in, then like 5 comes in. It's nuts. Actually, one of the decent ones looks like it's coming in right now. Got a couple of decent ones moving in right now. Come on. Oh, he turned away from it. Come on. Turn around. No, your other around. Grab it, grab it, grab it, grab it. I can't get a hook hold down here.
Hey, at least you're guided by it. Geese just came over, scared all my fish.
Stay right there. See them? My bait's over here. So they come up in the current here, they move over, grab a few baits, and then spin back around.
Yeah.
The bigger ones, I think I've had a chance at the bigger ones like every time they've come in. I don't know what it is. I must be the angle I'm setting at, because it's not the rig, the hook, everything worked fine up in the other section. Looks like Goldie's eating his bait. Sometimes stalking at the park lake goes this way. It goes from dead to amazing in no time, and it does the same the other way. You know, found some fish early, and then my luck turned. There's fish. Came in right to the hook bait. Well, one way to cinch it in right at the end. It's not one of the bigger fish. However, this fish came in and went right to the hook bait and nothing else. Oh. Wow. What a fish. Just a nice torpedo. Really good scrap. What a way to wrap this up. That's 4 fish for me. Unfortunately, nothing for Goldie to this point, but I am packing it up. We got to head back to the van and head home. So the Park Lake Challenge this time, I guess I locked down, but it wasn't as sweet a victory as I had hoped. I really hoped he would have gotten some fish and made it a bit of a dogfight, but we'll do this again, and I'm sure Goldie will be pulling a few tricks out of his sleeves at that point. Well, how was your morning, Goldie?
Good, I slept in. So like I said before, John was probably going to spank me at this one. But, yeah, I did learn a valuable lesson. I think I need to do panfish first. Sorry, probably out of frame there. With that, I'm thinking it's because of how little the bites are. So when they're tapping on the line, I wasn't reacting fast enough, so I wasn't able to catch the fish. So I'm thinking if I start with a lighter rod, with a little bit more action in it, I'd probably get the feel of it, get the understanding of how it works, and do much better. But it was fun nonetheless, and sitting there and having all those geese come in and attack me, and that was just creepy. But I could have stayed in bed instead of getting up at 4 a.m., but whatever. And John got what, 5?
4.
4?
Yeah.
Though I did get some hits, so it's okay.
Yeah, I had 4. So
yeah.
Ta-da! On to the next Park Lake Challenge.
Does it have to be Park Lake?
It doesn't have to be, but it makes it more fun. You come up with the next challenge. Next challenge is yours to design.
I already have it in mind.
Oh, you. Yeah, how did I not see that coming?
Yeah.